Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Sara Wiseman. Welcome to Spiritual Psychic. Um, Today I want to talk about a really interesting topic that I find kind of fascinating myself. It's this idea that thoughts are not things. And if you followed for a long time things like The Secret, Law of Attraction, some other really popular teachers in the last, 20, 30, 40 years, they will have this idea that thoughts are things, that we manifest what we want by thinking about it and by creating affirmation. And I would just say that we need to interpret this a little bit differently, and we need to think of it a little bit differently than we've thought about it in the past. Recently, I wanted this shirt, and it had sold out like several months ago. No big deal. As you know, I always just practically wear the same thing. But anyway, I wanted this shirt, sold out several months ago. I kept looking, like, are they going to have it again? And no, it had been 3 months. It just wasn't available. And so I wrote it down on my little notepad that I write down. I wrote it down, wrote down what the shirt was, where it was from, the size, etc. I just wrote that down on a little piece of paper. And 2 days later, I just thought, well, I'll just check. I'm sure it's not there. And there it was. And so I was able to get it. Now, you might say this is an example of thoughts or things. I thought about the shirt and I attracted it to me. I attracted the shirt to me. But I want to say, no, that's not how it worked. I attracted myself to the shirt. I put myself in the vibrational stream of that shirt being available. Now, it's interesting because the question of was this shirt useful to me or a good thing? Like, I don't really know. It kind of seems like a minor thing, a shirt. And yet, at the other hand, what if the shirt was like a really bad decision? I don't know that yet, but what if it were? What if it wasn't that neutral of a choice? We might say, who needs new clothes in this day and age? Or why would we buy something in this day and age? Why aren't we just using what we have and not increasing our carbon footprint, for example? Which I totally agree with. On the other hand, it's very normal to get a shirt. So, on the other hand, what if the amount of money that I needed for the shirt, that I spent on this shirt, which wasn't very much, is going to be needed somewhere else and I won't have it, or I won't think to spend it? Or what if the creation of this shirt causes the person who has to make the shirt and transport the shirt and process the shirt and ship the shirt and deliver the shirt? What about all that? And so I don't really know that, just because I wrote the shirt down and it appeared, I don't actually know if that's a good thing. And this is the difference, because when we say thoughts or things, we are only working from our intellectual point of view. And our intellectual point of view is much less capable and much less useful, and from a much lower level than our soul aspect, than the way that the soul can connect in and have direct knowing and create from that place. And I'm just going to read a little bit from the Gabriel messages on this. So, thoughts are not things. You have been taught that thoughts are things, but they are not. Thoughts are swirling energy forms of particulate consciousness, just as everything is. But thoughts do not form matter or become manifest in reality. Anything more than anything becomes real or holds form. Everything is always shifting, and everything can always be changed. Nothing holds form, nothing stays still, nothing doesn't change. When you ruminate on a thought, you are not calling it into being. Rather, you are allowing yourself, as particulate, to swirl and mingle in the particulate of that thought form, the same way you might step into a cloud of dust and feel the dust swirl around you. When you ruminate on a thought, you are not calling it into being, you are allowing yourself to, as particulate, to swirl and mingle in the particulate of that thought form. This is a whole different way of looking at things. Previously, many years ago, I wrote a course called The Manifesting Project, which you can get on the website under courses, and it taught very clearly that we don't manifest, we don't create. Everything's already created. When we manifest, we're not attracting the thing to us. We are instead, and they gave the example of the manifest as, you know, old-fashioned times when they were crossing the seas as colonists. When they were crossing the seas, they would have their supply, well, not always colonists, sometimes for different reasons, but you would hold all the supplies of the ship in what they called the manifest, the lower part of the ship that held all the storage. It held all the food, it held all the fresh water, it held everything that was needed for the voyage. That was called the manifest of the ship. And so if you needed something, you just went into the manifest and got it. And that's this idea of manifest now. If you need something, you don't attract it to you because it's already there in your field. It's already in your field. Instead, you attract yourself to the dimensional layer. You work with yourself as particulate and you go over to that particulate reality where the object or the thing that you're desiring is. You do not attract to, you are attracted to. You don't bring it to you, you're attracted to it. And so the way that I like to look at this is the universe always leads us. The universe is this, somebody used the phrase recently, the yellow brick road, and we're just following. The universe is this yellow brick road and we are following, and whatever is in our heart's desire, our truly something on our soul path, we are going to be attracted to that. So, you know, if say you were just like, I really, really need to have a partner. I should just probably have a partner. And then if I'm going to get a partner, I might as well get, you know, a desirable one. So I want this quality and I want this quality, and, you know, they need to look like this. They need to go to the gym all the time, and just, you know, and you have your laundry list of all the things you want in this partner that you think you should have. And the universe might kind of look at your list and be like, yeah, no, that's not what you actually need for your soul growth. Having that placed into your field is really gonna not benefit you in any way as a personality or as a soul. And the person that you actually need as a partner is this person that never goes to the gym and has none of the qualities that you thought you wanted because of societal pressure of this is what, they look like on, I don't know, The Bachelor. just, just like, or those ones where they meet in the cubes and they talk without love is blind. Like, we think we should have this particular style of thing that's called a partner. And the universe is like, no. The universe might also say, hey, this idea of a partner is completely run by societal expectations or societal pressures, and actually, perhaps for some people out there who thinks they need a partner to satisfy whatever, maybe they don't need a partner at all. Maybe that's just a societal expectation that is being let go, and their highest soul path is to journey on their own so that they can have the experience of taking care of themselves or having private time or being able to explore the things that they want when they want, or having freedom, or not getting into abusive relationships as they might have in the past, or having their own financial stability. Like there's all of the many, many reasons why people might not want to or might not benefit from having a partner. And so again, we're starting with the thought, I need a partner. Society says, for some of you, my mother says, everyone has one, I need one. So thus, I need to have this kind. The best, only the best. And the universe is like, that's not really the best. The best is at a soul level, not in the physicality. And then the deeper question, maybe a partner isn't even the place where you're going to find the most soul growth anyway. And so you move from being really run by societal expectations of what you should even want to releasing all of that and letting the universe choose. It's just full surrender. And then you let the universe attract you to what's really showing up for you in terms of what's going to assist you most in your soul growth. What's going to assist you the most? I want to read one more. So this idea of you don't create, you attract yourself to. And often if you try and create, you're creating from the lower level of mind, ego, personality, the lower level of what society tells you is desirable. And instead, if you can just let all that go and really trust the universe to show you the path and trust the universe to attract you to your next step. And here's another piece too, and I'm going to read this. Your freedom to choose. This is from the Gabriel Messages. You can get it where books are sold. Your freedom to choose. If you want a different reality, you can step out of the cloud of dust and step into a new cloud of dust. It is not difficult. It is simply a way of working with the mind so that instead of staying in clouds of uncomfortable dust, you are stepping into a cloud of dust with a more pleasant aspect that is more enjoyable or meaningful. There is so much choice in a human life, not control, but choice. It is surprising to us that you do not understand the freedom you have to choose enjoyment in any situation at any moment. Or if you do understand this freedom, why you don't choose it. And this again gets to this idea of our mind being not the place where we find answers. There's this idea, sort of one tradition in Buddhist tradition, the conditioned mind, and I interpret the conditioned mind as the mind that has been so embedded with the societal and family and cultural expectations, and not, this lifetime for us, but also everything that our ancestors understood, passing down generation after generation, all the trauma, all the fear, all the anxiety, all the need to survive. And they came up with these sort of ideas like, here's how you do it. This is the secret. You're going to want all this stuff, and because we're still working in this time and place, you're going to want all this stuff that's going to put you on the top of the pyramid, the top of the hierarchy, so that you and all of your family will be safe and successful, and you will be protected from suffering. So it's hierarchy based, it's separation based. And that's actually not how it works. It's a viewpoint that isn't correct. You can be, and I know because I work with people all the time, like they're kind of at the top, right? And they have just as much trouble as people that we might say, oh, they're at the bottom. They are as wrapped up and trapped in their own mind, in their separation, as anybody. So getting back to this idea of thoughts are not things, when you can free yourself from all this traffic in your brain, all this thought about what's good and what's bad, and gotta do this and gotta do that, and that's not right, and we can just let the thoughts kind of run this show that you're not really watching. You can drop in now and then and see if they have an opinion, but instead working with the bigger aspect of reality, which is oneness, and having practices and pauses that allow you to experience this level of direct connection, no separation from, at all times. And so that instead of using your thoughts to direct your next action and to attract everything you think you want to you, let that go all the way you were taught, and instead just be connected to everything, understanding your infinite nature, and the universe will not forget about you. The universe will absolutely direct you to the highest potentiality for soul growth, and you will just kind of be flowing to the next thing, the next person, the next activity. You'll just know what to do at all moments. You will be attracted to, instead of hoarding and grasping and trying to attract something to you. You will allow yourself to flow towards what is next. This is a difficult concept because we've been taught the opposite our entire lives. So stay with it, and we'll talk about it more next time. Thanks for listening, everybody. You can find me at sarawiseman.com.